Hey guys, so we're recording this on a different mic, so hopefully this sounds a little bit better. And today I know that a lot of you will love the topic that we're going to talk about. It touches each and every one of you deeply, and if you're a human being, you can definitely relate to this topic. And I'm not alone today, so today with me I have Caleb Jackson. We have
Buddy.
me.
Two times.
And then we have
Mixed boy Kobe.
We got Mixed Boy Kobe, and then the one, the only, NoDream Jeff. What is the topic for today?
We're talking about lust.
Well, like more specifically.
Oh, so
Sex.
Oh yeah.
Sex. We're talking about sex.
I didn't know we were gonna go.
Ew.
Ew.
Like, doesn't that work when you like hold hands or something? That's what I was told.
Definitely. I'm not saying you.
Cody's not trying to admit that he knows how it works. Alright.
Babies are made by holding hands.
First, we're going to talk about it from a biblical
There'd be a
perspective.
lot of babies.
And
Girls made like that.
then we'll go into some of the ways that we can resist it. So, Kobe, did you want to go first, or
What?
did you want to read the passage you got first?
Yeah.
Or while you're trying to find that, I can just go ahead.
Go ahead.
All right, so the first part we're going to be coming from is Genesis 39, verse 6. And if you guys don't know, this is the story of Joseph. A little bit of background information. Story of Joseph. He was thrown into a well by his brothers. A lot of stuff happened. And basically, he ended up getting taken to a foreign country, Egypt, and to a land that wasn't his own. So we see him, he ends up in this house with his master Potiphar, and Potiphar's wife is there. So starting in verse 6, so he left in Joseph's care everything he had. And this is Potiphar, the husband. He left in Joseph's care everything he had, with Joseph in charge. He did not concern himself with anything except the food he ate. So he trusted Joseph enough to take care of all of this stuff. Now Joseph was well built and handsome. And all of us know what that's like because we're all well built and handsome. Now Joseph was, like it literally says, Joseph was well built and handsome. Joseph had the sauce, obviously. And after a while, verse 7, his master's wife took notice of Joseph and said, "Come to bed with me." I like how y'all are just so quiet. But he refused. He just curbed her. He said, "No. With me in charge," he told her, "my master does not concern himself with anything in the house. Everything he owns has been entrusted to my care. No one is greater in this house than I am. My master has withheld nothing from me except you, because you are his wife. How then could I do such a wicked thing and sin against God?" And though she spoke to Joseph day after day, he refused to go to bed with her or even be with her. One day he went into the house to attend his duties, and none of the household servants were inside. So now, like before, he'd been resisting her advances, but there were other people there. So now it's like a truer test because he's by himself. There's like literally nobody else in the house. So one day he was doing his duties in the house, and nobody else was inside. She caught him by his cloak and said, "Come to bed with me." But he left his cloak in her hand and ran out of the house. That's a flex, guys. When she saw that he had left his cloak in her hand and had run out of the house, she called her household servants. "Look," she said to them, "this Hebrew has brought to us to make this Hebrew has been brought to us to make sport of us. He came in here to sleep with me, but I screamed. When he heard me scream for help, he left his cloak beside me and ran out of the house." She kept his cloak beside her until his master came home. Then she told him this story. So basically she tells this huge lie about Joseph, and because of this, Joseph has done nothing wrong, but he ends up getting thrown in jail. And then Kobe, just go ahead and read the biblical passage you have, and then we'll just break it down.
Alright, so I'm going to read about the passage in the Bible about David and Bathsheba, and that's in 2 Samuel chapter 11. I'm going to start in verse 2. So it says, "One evening, David got up from his bed, and he walked around the roof of the palace. From the roof, he saw a woman bathing. The woman was very beautiful, and David sent someone to find out about her. The men said, 'She is Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam, and the wife of Uriah the Hittite.' Then David sent messengers to get her. She came to him, and he slept with her. Now she was purifying herself from her monthly uncleanness." So I guess she was like on her period, I guess. Is that what
Yeah.
That's what that means?
Yeah.
So then she went back home. The woman conceived, and she sent word to David saying, "I am pregnant." So David basically saw Bathsheba bathing, and that happened to be somebody else's wife, but he decided to do that anyways. So he was in lust, and he went after her, and that wasn't right. So yeah. I'm gonna continue.
Keep going. Yeah.
So David sent word to Joab, "Send me Uriah the Hittite." So Uriah is Bathsheba's husband. So he got sent to David, and Joab sent him to David. When Uriah came to him, David asked him how Joab was, how the soldiers were, and how the war was going. Then David said to Uriah, "Go down to your house and wash your feet." So Uriah left the palace, and a gift from the king was sent after him. But Uriah slept at the entrance to the palace while his master's servants did not go down to his house. David was told Uriah did not go home. So he asked Uriah, "Haven't you just come home from a military campaign? Why didn't you go home?" So the whole thing David was trying to do was trying to get Uriah to go back to his house and sleep with his wife, because he knew that his wife was pregnant. So he was trying to get that off. He was trying to cover up what he did, but Uriah still didn't go to his home. So Uriah said to David, "The ark and Israel and Judah are staying in tents, and my commander Joab and my Lord's men are camped in the open country. How could I go to my house and eat and drink and make love to my wife?" So Uriah, being a good person, he was like, all the people who I just left war from, they're out here still risking their lives, so why in the world should I go back home and make love and be in comfort?
Yeah.
So as surely as you live, I will not do such a thing. Then David said to him, "Stay here one more day, and tomorrow I will send you back." So Uriah remained in Jerusalem that day and the next day. At David's invitation, he ate and drank with him, and David made him drunk. But in the evening, Uriah went out to sleep on his mat among his master's servants. He did not go home. So Uriah didn't go home again. So in the morning, David wrote a letter to Joab and sent it with Uriah. And he wrote, "Put Uriah out in the front where the fighting is fiercest, and then withdraw him so he will be struck down and die." So David, this man, King David, he done sent Uriah.
This man.
Yeah. King David is known for all these great things he did. I mean, of course, nobody's perfect. So David, out of all this lust and sin, he's trying to cover up what he did.
Let that stir him up, yeah.
Yeah, he sent Uriah all the way to the front lines where he already knew he was going to die. So while Joab had the city under siege, he put Uriah at the place where he knew the strongest defenders were. When the men of the city came out and fought against Joab, some of the men in David's army fell. Moreover, Uriah the Hittite died. So David succeeded in covering up what he did, and Uriah died in the front lines. Man, that shows how powerful the sin of lust can be. Well, not just lust in general, but any sin. When you're trying to sin, you go to great lengths just to get what your flesh wants.
So yes, we're specifically talking about lust for this podcast, but this applies, all this stuff applies to pretty much every sin there is. But specifically, something that you hit on, Kobe, in that story, and I'm kind of getting off topic here, but you talked about him going so far as, sending Uriah to sleep with his wife, and he wouldn't do it, and then he did it a couple more times and he wouldn't do it, and then he went to the extent of murder to cover up his sin. Mm-hmm. So that just goes to show how far we're willing to go. This is the same David who walked in faith and slayed a giant.
The same one who was known for his great faith.
For writing songs, his great faith in God, like you just said. Yeah. It just goes to show, no matter how high you are, no matter what you've done for God.
Yeah. Sin can really still be entrancing and get you to do things you didn't think you were gonna do.
Yeah, I don't know what chapter it is, but in Psalms there's a verse he talks about the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? So David's saying, basically, the heart is evil, it's corrupt. Mm-hmm. And if you don't even know what depths of evil you're willing to go to cover up your sin or to sin, then how can you stop yourself from sinning if you don't even know what you're capable of? The only one who can help us with that is the one who made our hearts, which we know is Jesus. But anyway, so we'll get more into the two passages that we read later. But let's go and talk about this a little bit. So how do you think sex is portrayed in our society? Is it something that's special and sacred, or is it something that's you can just go do it a recreational activity?
But people treat it sex is even joked about in Disney movies. Disney, it's known for all its children and
what are a couple? Okay,
me and Gabe were just watching
childhood crushes in TV shows.
Oh, crushes.
Yeah.
Oh.
In TV shows as a child, who do you think was attractive?
Jesse, Peyton Leslie played in Jesse. She played in Bone.
Oh, you talking real people?
Yeah. Oh,
I was talking
cartoons.
Yeah, the ones we watched.
Minnie Mouse. I'm
just Minnie Mouse.
Yeah. That girl but when I first watched Tarzan, that girl,
Jane,
yes.
When she was in the fort.
I think
that gorilla though.
We can all agree. Boy, we can all agree, Ariel.
Yes.
Little Mermaid, classic.
We were just talking about her. Me and Kim.
Oh. You guys can't see it, but Kobe's nodding slowly, I remember very well. But
she washed up on that rock.
I mean,
Gotta kiss the girl.
bro, she's half fish. She's half fish, bro. But anyway, all this goes to show. Before this, you guys were talking about Elastigirl.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so would you say when the creators design a character a certain way, would you say they know what they're doing?
Yes.
Like they do it on purpose.
Because like half the time, like the movie screens will like change.
Yeah, it's like a specific angle.
In the first Incredibles, there's even a scene where like she looks back in the mirror. Everybody knows that scene.
Like that wasn't for kids.
If you're a guy, you know that scene. Like she looks back.
Girls know that scene.
She looked back in the mirror and looked at her.
Like,
so you would say, okay, so regardless, because it is an essential. It's essential. Well, I wouldn't say essential to living, but essential to our existence as humanity, right? Because we have to procreate. So sex is how do I put this? It's not going to go away. Like, you're never not going to face, like, sexual temptation because it's going to be in your face constantly. And in the 1900s, you had Marilyn Monroe, the sexual revolution. Even in the Roman times, you had prostitutes and that sort of thing walking around. So literally, no matter
how times you got prostitutes walking around.
Yeah, I'm saying. So, like, no matter where you live, what time, like, what? I'm gonna pretend like you didn't say anything. I'm just gonna pretend like that.
You got me at the beginning.
No matter what time period you live in or where you live, you're always gonna face sexual temptation. And I'm pretty sure even if you lock yourself inside your house or in a cave or something like a Buddhist monk, I mean, you got imagination. Yeah. I don't know, but okay. So we talked about some of the ways we face it. Also, social media like TikTok, Instagram. Like Toby, you said anything with the picture, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Cause
anything our eyes can see.
Well, psychologists, I read this a while back, but guys are more eye oriented because like hunter gatherer type things that we did in the past. Yeah. We're more visually like stimulated. Like we look at things and we're like, I guess that does more for us. Whereas girls are more touch sensitive and that sort of thing.
Because they ate the apple.
I don't think the apple has anything to do with it. But and I'm not just saying this is a guy only issue. Yeah, it's because issue too. Like sexual temptation, it's like I don't know for sure. I wish you had a girl here with us. But I'm pretty sure it's not a guy only issue. Like everybody struggles with it.
I mean, I would want to say it affects guys more though. I don't know.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess.
I feel like they struggle with that more.
I would say. So with social media, we already talked about like some of the platforms it's on, right?
TikTok.
Yeah, and like it's just randomly thrown in your face. Like you could be like scrolling through something completely different.
YouTube's getting dangerous now.
Like
YouTube's starting to get dangerous. Like their pop-up ads. Like you'll be scrolling and
pop-up ads is crazy.
Yeah.
Instagram's a major one that's dangerous. But
yeah.
I don't know Instagram.
Well, I don't know. Instagram hasn't been that much of a problem.
There's literally a category called. Well, I don't know.
The only social media.
There's literally a category for like models, and they're known as Instagram models, and they just go on there and post things and take pictures. Like the main thing is their butt.
Well, I mean,
like,
you have TikTok models too now, I guess.
Yeah, I haven't heard of those, but
what,
I mean that makes sense to be the thing.
And literally, we can talk about this all along. Like, if you guys don't know, I got bored one week during quarantine, and I decided to make TikToks, right? Just to see how far I could take it. And they're like inspiring ones. I'm helping people with their problems. We're talking.
You talked about the Earth being flat by pouring water on the ground.
It was great. Knowledge. You guys can go check it out. But I was helping people get past their problems, and then it got nowhere. You know why?
Because you got shadow banned instead of light banned.
Exactly. No. I heard a lot of content creators talk about this sort of thing, but it's like people who talk about other things and like people who talk about other things besides sex or don't show their bodies or dance or anything like that, they don't get publicized or views or anything, but people who just like show their bodies like rampantly. I mean, you even have people on there who use TikTok as like a place, like a pre-market place to like sell their OnlyFans or whatever.
Daisy Keach.
I don't know who that is.
TikTok.
I don't know who that is. But
he's like,
yeah, so okay. So because of the way social media is oriented, right? Because of the way social media is oriented, it's like eyes, right? We look at it, we scroll. It's so easy to access, right? Mm-hmm. Like I've heard elderly people talk about how they had to go to the store and like actually get magazines to see that kind of thing. and now we can easily like access it like slick. You could be trying to avoid it. Like you could be doing something completely different, and then it'll just pop up on your phone and it's right there. So it's in your face. Like in the story we talked about Joseph, right? When he faced sexual temptation, he ran away. He literally he got out of the house. But I'm pretty sure like even if he went somewhere else, there's still like people dressed skimpy, like literally prostitutes on every single corner. Knowing how sexually promiscuous Egypt was at the time. But would you say females know that we as guys are like
yes,
I feel
like visually oriented?
I feel like they would say like, no, we don't know that. But I feel like it's probably like second nature or something.
I feel like by now they would know that. Because I mean, look at the way culture teaches them. Like, okay, you have social media. It teaches people to look their best, be attractive to the eye, despite how they actually are. And then, like, literally, you have guys that only pay attention to girls for their body. So, I mean, it's so easy to get a generalization of all guys from that. And the same thing with all females. But honestly, I would say America in general has taught young women, and not just young women, guys too, that they can exercise control over others through their body. Like, if you just show like a specific part of your body, like honestly, listen, like I know all of us have struggled with this because we've all gone to public high school, and like some girls there, I mean, they be trying to look fashionable, but I mean honestly, like they're missing half their clothes. Like they're missing half their clothes. Yeah. And like sometimes like
it's more than half.
If you guys could see me, my neck is strong because like I be trying not to look. I be like, or like when you're walking up, literally when you're walking up the stairs, I be looking down at my toes.
I do the same thing. Yeah, I do the same.
And they just like it would be between classes. Like back when I was in high school, it would be between classes, and like I'd be below them, and then they would just stop walking. And then I'm looking down, so I can't see anything. So I would say society has taught women that they can use their bodies to exercise control over men because that's what we accept. So not only is that detrimental to females because they're being taught not to show... Yeah, detrimental. They're being taught to show more of their body than their personality. It's also detrimental to men because we start seing at eye level
when they act like
not scratching their
When they act like that shows that we should value the body more instead of their actual personality.
Exactly, it's in this cycle. Okay.
I feel like the main, it's probably like not off topic, but like the main people, I feel like the main thing towards like the way women act is like definitely like social media and like what girls see. And like the leading things for that, it's like the Kardashians. I would say that. Like the way the Kardashians act with like all the makeup and like the fake
everything. The fake everything.
Hey, you dissing the Kardashians? Be careful. But
yeah, okay, come after me. Oh no.
Sit on me.
What the heck?
Suffocate you. But you're horrible. This is fake. You're so horrible. Fake booty. Y'all are horrible. Okay, so so do you guys, would you say you have certain techniques or patterns that you've used to kind of avoid the whole lust thing? Because like overall it's about mastery of self, right? Because lust primarily, and like you guys asked me while I was laughing before, but if you think about it, you know we have 5 senses: see, touch, taste, smell, and hear. Well, lust is sight, it's touch. The one I was laughing about was taste, because that'd be kind of weird if you just walk up and lick somebody. So I'm gonna skip that one. So it is sight, it is touch, it is smell, and it is hear. So
some of the things we've done to avoid it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's so hard to. What I'm saying is, it's like so hard to avoid it because like it engages all of your senses. Literally,
I feel like I don't know any ways to avoid it. Like I can never avoid it. There definitely is some ways though. Like if you have parents, leave your phone in a different room. Leave it with your parents. Hold on to it.
Don't have a phone.
I mean, that's a good thing.
Like what our dad did. He was a flip phone.
He could do that.
That's what I like. Like recently, I deleted.
That still didn't stop my list when I had a flip phone.
My list continued on my computer.
Alright, for real.
Alright, so let's go around individually.
Ways that I've tried to minimize it
Yeah.
was like deleting social media. Like I have TikTok, but
That helps, yeah.
I don't go looking for that kind of stuff. But like I like recently deleted like Instagram and Snapchat.
Yeah.
Just so like, because I know people be trying to add you on Snapchat just to find some stuff, and I've never done it on Snapchat, but I don't want to eventually.
You don't want to come across that.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Anything else?
I mean, like Kobe said, leave your phone with your parents or something if you're feeling it.
All right. Yeah, buddy. You got anything?
It's hard.
I know. I mean, basically, like surrounding yourself with people that don't put that first, and like
That's a good one.
surrounding yourself.
One of the top things people say is like accountability partner.
Yeah.
I mean, that never really worked for me though, because like,
Have you actually like been accountable with somebody?
yeah, but the way that I am,
You don't want to talk to them.
no, it's not that. I'm just like, remember how I told you guys about like,
That's all I was.
I feel like what's the point of telling somebody else about something I'm going through when like it's all up to me in the end. Like, yes, I can talk to you about my problem, but that's not gonna help me change it. Like, it's up to me whether it changes or not. So I mean, it does help. It's not just for me. Like, accountability partners, it works both ways. You help each other. But for me personally, like, I'm very self-driven.
If God wanted us to do that, He would have came down here and had no disciples. I mean, it's not like He needed.
Well, I
our
mean,
help.
I'm not saying I do it alone, but like,
You gotta have fun with
once
it.
again, you can't like completely depend on other people to help you, because
But you can't
like, they're gonna be
completely depend on
busy.
yourself either.
Exactly, there's a healthy balance. You got anything else, buddy? Kobe, you got something?
For me, I don't know. It's really hard. Like, I can give my phone up, but like if I really wanted to, I could still like find something else to use or something. But like for me, it's probably like, I don't know. Like I have to stay in my word more, develop more of a relationship with God. I have to like understand. I don't know. I have to like build my love for God to overcome the love. What I think is
the love of the world. Or
Yeah. So basically, it's gonna be down to me growing my relationship. It's not gonna be any type of physical treatment that I do. It don't matter if you take my phone or anything. There's like so many ways you can access that junk. So
Yeah.
It also doesn't help that like lust is portrayed like as a good thing in society, like where
Did you use the word portrayed? Look at you, the boy Grammarly.
what?
It's not a big word for you, buddy.
it's not a big word.
But like it's portrayed as something that like you're supposed to like have and supposed to like
Yeah.
think about and do.
I mean,
and,
look
like,
at the songs. Like,
yeah.
like secular music. Like, you can't literally have like a verse without them mentioning them doing something to a girl or having
Yeah.
girls do something to them. Like, it's just pervasive in culture.
Stop.
Stop. Like, it's just it's very pervasive in culture, and it's hard for us to dodge it.
Yeah, it's
when
like no
it's
matter.
literally in your face all the
Yeah.
time.
Sometimes literally.
Oh, on to the next part. Let's see.
You gotta move your face over there for it to be in front of you.
Stop.
No, when you going up the stairs, bruh, and you look up, like I be on my phone.
But you
I
better
be
stop
going,
stepping up, man.
I be stepping up on my phone, and I look up and
Fly
I'm
up
like,
the stairs. Oh, we can talk about that one verse.
oh god.
No, when I walk behind somebody's butt at school, looking the stairs, I hold my breath. I'm not.
Oh me, and I look down, I go.
I don't want to take the chance of smelling somebody.
Kobe, what was that verse in the Bible that talks where Jesus was talking to the man, and he was like, if anything prevents you from getting into heaven, cut it off, for it's better for you to lose your arm than it is for you to...
That's what Kobe was
I
talking
don't know
about
what
earlier.
you're talking about. I don't know what it is. But then we know about like those eunuchs who like cut off their genitals and like they think that that's gonna solve something, but just cutting that off.
You
is
still
not-
have lust.
You
just
still
without
have lust.
I mean, you can't cut off your
extra
leg
Still have
cheeks.
lust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like saying, fuck. I don't know. I can't come up with a good comparison.
A good analogy.
That's like saying if you cut off an elephant's trunk, you're not gonna think about drinking water.
Well, yeah. Okay, so we talked about what we can do in response to it and how pervasive it is in our culture.
Look at you, big word.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's my thing.
Grammarly.
Grammarly, big word.
That's my thing. You guys already know by now. But are there any other examples in scripture that you guys know of?
You didn't give me.
Huh?
You didn't. Did you answer yours? You didn't say how you fight it. No, look
He
around.
doesn't fight it.
Oh.
He embraces it.
I'm not gonna
He embraces it.
Okay, so
Basket.
a big thing for me like I used to struggle a lot with it, but the biggest thing for me was knowing that, okay, sex outside of marriage, it feels completely worthless and pointless. Because, yeah, your body feels it, but if all you are is feelings, then you're not really existing, you know? Like, there has to be some deeper level to you than feelings. So, I mean, if sex is just about what you feel, then it's very, like, surface level, and it's not very deep at all in what it was meant to be. So, I mean, I don't know. Like, for me, mentally, like, I just block things out. I find it easier for me to, like, block things out and concentrate on other things. So, like, if something, like, pops up in my feed, I'll just keep scrolling. Or, like, you guys already know, like, if I want to learn something, I'll just, like, go on YouTube and just start learning it. So, like, usually I'll be outside, like, trying to learn something that I thought was really, really cool. Or, you guys already know, I love Smash Ultimate. And I'll be playing that, and that keeps me preoccupied.
You know, trying to smash?
You know, only the game. But yeah, I mean,
you're the only one that will think about that. We all straight.
Another thing. There's that old saying, an idle mind is the devil's foothold. Another way is just keep yourself preoccupied. Like, take a hike, start working out, easily, we could just go and talk about November. Because, I mean, there's a whole month dedicated to it. Like, a whole month. Literally, like, that's the only time Christians in the world are on the same page about, like, sexual things.
But the way they go about it, they say, like, no, not November, then...
Yeah, they say, like, as soon as November ends, it's like bedsheets.
It's like free game.
Yeah. It's like bedsheets.
It's like free. Stop!
That's what the world says.
Well, yeah, but, I mean, it's the only time the world and Christians are on the same page.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you guys think the positive benefits are of not giving in to sexual temptation?
You feel like crap when you do it.
Well, yeah, of course. Anything else? What are, like, the benefits to not doing it?
The benefits.
Pleases Christ, obviously.
Okay, yeah. Do you think there's any, like, physical benefits? Like more energy?
Definitely, because when you live a life of lust like that, you're always like trying to do it at times where nobody can see you, so you're just staying up super late.
And it weighs on your conscience, yeah.
Then like when you want to accomplish something, you're like,
I can't do that, yeah.
You just have to get on your shoulder.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, it weakens you greatly because.
Yeah. I definitely felt it.
I'd have to ask Steven about this, but I heard it somewhere on like the radio. But before the Hebrews would go into battle, they wouldn't have sex because it's giving into your flesh. Well. Okay, in the confines of marriage, sex is like perfect. It's not giving into like your sinful desires, but they believe that like it would kind of weaken them, I guess. And they even have examples in when we learned about the Knights of the Round Table, Galahad.
I guess it kind of distracts them.
Well, I mean, if you think about like we talked about in Miss Birch's class, Galahad, he was like. The reason he was so strong was because he was a virgin. Like, he literally had virgin powers.
That man was fire.
Yeah.
That should be an anime. Virgin power.
It's the perfect man.
But anyway, there's physical benefits to abstaining from sex. There's mental ones because it definitely... Like, when we went through VN, we talked about how it takes a piece of you every time.
Yes.
Like, it's literally connections and... Like between you and that person.
It's like a soul tie.
That's
what they call it.
Okay, so interestingly, I've been wanting to talk to you guys about this. I was gonna say it for another podcast, but I watched this one show. It's Rascal Does Not Dream of whatever it's called, but and it talks about quantum entanglement. And you remember that thing I told you about the Japanese having this theory, or the legend about the red string of fate that connects people.
Yeah.
So like you could be born in like a different time period. And you could be connected to somebody else in the future.
We kind of see that in Reincarnated as Islam.
Well, kind of like that. But it's basically like no matter the time, the place, no matter where you are, you're bound to another person by fate, by love, or whatever it is. You're destined to be together. And I mean, I guess to God that would exist because He sees into the future, but to us it seems uncertain.
That's how we are with God, kind of.
Yeah.
It's like no matter where we come from, what point of thing, He has that string that He's waiting on us.
Look at you, buddy. Big word. That was good. But anyway, so quantum entanglement, right, is basically proof of that legend. Okay, so basically, we're all made of atoms, right? Like protons and neutrons and
electrons.
Well, basically, scientists have discovered when, like, the first time you see somebody, right? And atoms are always interacting, right? But usually they bounce off of each other. But when you meet somebody you love, or you come into contact with somebody, you start hanging around them more and more and more, your atoms become entangled. And, like, since we're humans, our atoms are, like, pretty much the same thing, right? So, literally, when you come into a relationship with that person, you're becoming, like, one with them. Like, you are literally...
That's why, like, some people, whenever, like, they see somebody, like, married for a long time, they, like, notice that, like, the person start to look alike or something.
Maybe.
Like,
I definitely have to do more research into it. But quantum entanglement is definitely a thing. Actually, yeah, I mean, and science just backs up what God has said. Like, it's marriage is a contract. Relationships are sacred. And if you're experimenting with sex outside of that, then you're definitely not going to be fulfilled in any way.
And you still leave a part of yourself behind, too.
Yeah, and it's going to hurt you in the long run, too.
All it produces is dopamine.
Yeah.
It's just a feeling.
Yeah, I mean, if you're searching for, like, just a feeling, like, then are you living? Like, there's got to be something more.
If you want a feeling, hit your hand with a hammer.
Break your fingers before you...
That's not pleasure, though. If they want pleasure, they want a pleasure feeling. I mean, you get that feeling that you think you get that feeling that you want, but it only lasts for, like, those few minutes or seconds, then it's gone. You're still trying to search for that.
Days or years.
That's a problem.
Well, okay, so I have it right here, what I was talking about before. And this is from, I guess it's PRI.org, it's a government organization. So basically it's, and I quote from the page, people get entangled with each other when they fall in love. It can start when they're nowhere near each other, perhaps catching each other's eye. It seems that tiny subatomic particles, like electrons and protons, can also get entangled with each other at great distance in a way that physicists still don't understand. It's this really delightful, really strange thing, an MIT physicist said. Somehow what happens to one particle can have an impact on what we would expect the second one to do, and even if those particles are nowhere near each other. So, all that to say, when you enter into a relationship with somebody, you want to be able to give as much as you to that person that you can. Like, that's a gift. That's what you're bringing to the table. And do you really want to have nothing to bring to the table when it's all said and done? So, I know we probably missed out on a lot of points.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more we could have talked about. Like, I haven't been in my Bible like I should be. And I know there's tons more examples of people resisting lust or dealing with that sort of thing in Scripture that we can talk about. But we'll probably end up revisiting this topic later. But for now, this is what we have to say. So, anybody have any closing statements? Like, what would you say? And we'll go around the room. What would you say to somebody who struggles with lust?
What I would say to somebody, since I kind of experienced it, it's not like as fulfilling as you would think it is. Like, we search all our lives for something to fill our lives with, but like the ultimate thing that's gonna fill the hole that we're trying to fill up is gonna be God. So like, if you're trying to fill your desires and pleasures with like sex and lust, it's never gonna fill up. You're gonna keep on trying to fill it up with something over and over, and it's gonna be endless. So until you like find the one thing that's gonna actually like,
it's like the same way with an addiction. Like, you start taking something, and you just want more of that feeling, so you just keep going back at it.
The physical, not the spiritual aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's a serious thing too.
Yeah, it takes a little bit more of you every single time. And then you start wondering who you are, and then it impacts like all areas of your life, like how your confidence, and impacts that, and impacts how you feel around other people. Like, it affects so much
who you are.
And like sex isn't like a bad thing, because obviously God created it, so he wants us to like, I shouldn't say it like that. Yeah, he wants us to see. I mean, he didn't want us not to do it, because we still have to create. We have to like give birth to people and create. Well, not
we don't have to give birth.
I see what you're trying to say.
Yeah, he wants us to procreate.
Yeah, that. So,
all right, buddies.
That's all I have to say.
Is that all you have?
That's it. I conclude.
All right.
I included mine and Kobe's.
No, you're going to get.
I just said part of mine.
All right, so I'll go ahead and say mine, and then we can close out. Like I already said, as it's all about self-mastery, right? Like, whenever you play a sport, you learn discipline by constantly working at your body, trying to get it how you want. So it's optimal, like you can perform at peak level, right?
Yes, sir.
Paul talked about it. We're running a race, and if you're sapping your energy doing meaningless things every time you get the chance, or every time you feel like it, then how do you expect to resist other sins? Because if you're sinning in one area of your life, it's like a snowball effect. It's like way easier to fall into other sins. So, like, first of all, like we already talked about, establish guards on your phone, or better yet, don't even have the app on your phone. Or only use like certain apps when you're around other people.
Turn off that private.
Yeah, we talked about accountability partners, having people you can talk to. But like we said, it's only like a combination of things that will help you. Make sure you stay in the Bible, the Word. It talks about ways that you can prevent. Like Joseph, he literally ran away. Like if you just gotta like get out of the room or get away from a sexual temptation, just go. Like it's better for you not to sin in that moment.
Save yourself in marriage, bro.
Exactly. It's not and like all of us are virgins, so none of us have, I think. Kobe's nodding vigorously. But
we are.
not to say that we don't have the sauce, but
oh no, God blessed us with the sauce.
Blessed us with the sauce. Hallelujah.
We have the holy book of sauce.
The book of sauce. Like scripture literally talks about, Joseph was we were blessed, okay? But I mean, just because you're good looking doesn't mean you just go and use your looks however you want. But great power comes great responsibility.
We literally just talked about that.
Anyway,
Spider-Man. Spider-Man was wild.
And it's a relationship between guys and girls, right? We talked about how each one influences each other. Like guys encourage it to happen, and girls think that's what guys want to see. So, like, this coming from me personally, like, honestly, how do I put this? Like, females, you don't really have to do that. Like, I mean, if you want a guy to like be attracted to you at eye level first,
out, laugh, have fun.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is, like, you're literally showing. I'm not trying. There's a lot of people that talk about, it's like my body, I do what I want with it. But are you?
How I do it?
Is that really what you want to do with your body?
Yeah.
Like, there's so many more things you can do.
You're basically like devaluing your body. You're like showing it off already. Like, your body's, I don't know.
Yeah, and like when you post something, like, depending on how popular you are, like thousands and millions of people are gonna see that. And then being that it's already hard enough to resist sexual temptation when you're being trained from like a young age by like cartoons that you see that like women are sexualized by the media anyway. Same with guys. So
like post on like social media and stuff, like things that you wouldn't care like if your parents saw.
Yeah. Talk about truth. And I'm not trying to step out of my zone or my area or anything, but like for real, parents, like this is gonna sound really dangerous coming from me.
What?
But if you're letting your child do that sort of thing, like is that really what you want for your child? Like you say you want the best, right? But you're letting them go flaunt their body on social media, and like parents always talk about how they want the best for the child and they love them. Well, put your love into action. Is that really what you want for your child? But anyway, I'm not here to talk about like parent control and stuff because I'm not a parent. I'm just a young man just trying to find my way back home. I don't know, y'all. But I think that's it for the podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Feel free to share your struggles with lust, all that. I hope you weren't weak and stayed for the whole video. And if you did, we love y'all. Y'all the real ones.
Hit that like, subscribe.
Yeah, like, subscribe, notifications,
and
all
share,
that.
and share.
Oh yeah, you can follow us on Insta. And
Can they follow you on TikTok, James?
On TikTok. NoDream_JL. Also, I just got a Twitter.
You can follow me on TikTok.
Put the links in the bio.
At Kobe Blank.
Oh yeah, we'll put all these links in the bio so you guys can check it out. Make sure you share it with people, so the podcast can grow and all that sort of stuff. But I think that is it. Remember, y'all, we got no dream but the one dream. Present one king.
And anything.
That was fun.
What'd you say?
Wait, why haven't I used that intro?
Anything.
What do you mean?
Anything.
Because I don't know.
You just said no dream the one dream.
I know. I sent it to James, but
Anyway, alright guys, we love you.